Good morning 10th class. Welcome to physics online class. So in last class we have started with chapter electricity and I have given you some questions based on potential difference and current. Fine. So I hope the solutions which I gave after that were clear to you, all of you, and you are able to do the questions based on these two formulas. Fine. So moving forward, these are the points to remember. In a circuit, the current flows from positive terminal to negative terminal of the battery. So just keep this in mind that whenever you are going to mark the direction of current, the arrow should be from positive terminal of the battery to the negative terminal of the battery. Fine. Now ammeter is always connected in series. This I have done, but you don't know that what I mean by series or parallel combination. That we will do after Ohm's law. So just keep this in mind that ammeter is always connected in series and voltmeter is always connected in parallel. Fine. Now key or switch can be put anywhere in the circuit. Doesn't matter where you are putting key or switch. It is just to break the circuit or complete the circuit. Fine. Now current does not flow in an open circuit, that we have covered. Fine. Now these are the circuit diagram. These are the symbols to form a circuit diagram, and these symbols you should remember by heart, because we are not going to draw the actual component. We are just going to draw the symbols of the component when we are drawing the circuit diagram in a given situation. Fine. So you can see here that electric cell has a positive terminal and a negative terminal. The positive terminal is a vertical line which is bigger than the another one, and your negative terminal is a vertical line which is smaller than that of the positive terminal. Fine. Now battery is a combination of cells. Fine. So whatever voltage you want to get from a battery, that should be in accordance with the number of cell which you are connecting together. Fine. Now connecting wire is a simple wire, simple line. A wire joint is the symbol which is shown in the diagram. Fine. You can see here wire crossing without joining. There are some times that your wire are crossing, but I'm not joining these two wires. So in that scenario you have to draw the symbol like this. Electric bulb should be like the symbol which is shown in 6th point. Plug key, again key, and plug key, again key is for breaking or joining the circuit. Fine. Key can plug key can be shown as in 9th and 10th point. If you are showing an open plug key, don't draw the dot in between these two brackets, and when you are showing a closed plug key, when you are completing the circuit, then draw a dot in between these two brackets. Fine. Resistance, a fixed resistance is its symbol is like a zigzag thing having two ends extended on both sides. Fine. Variable resistance means whose value I can change. Fine. So it is nothing but a resistance with an arrow in between. Fine. Rheostat is a potential divider which is used to vary the potential difference across a resistor, and its symbol is somewhat like this. Fine. So just keep this in mind that variable resistance and rheostat in your NCERT book, they are shown in one space only, but these are two different symbols. So just keep this in mind, which symbol belongs to which symbol. Fine. So there is a correction in NCERT book. You can do it, otherwise you can follow this table. Now galvanometer is a device to detect the presence of current. It does not measure current, it only detects the presence of current and the direction in which it is moving. It only tells us that. Fine. Ammeter and voltmeter. Ammeter is to measure current and voltmeter is to measure potential difference. Fine. Now you can see that in galvanometer there is no plus and negative sign, but in ammeter there is plus a positive terminal and a negative terminal, similarly with voltmeter. So you have to keep in mind that which terminal you are connecting with your batteries. Fine. Now these are the keys, sorry, these are the switches. Last two are the switches. One is in off position and another one is on position. These switches, these are just like the switches you use at home. So these are the symbols which you can use. We can either use plug key or we can use switches. Right? So these are the symbol I wanted to discuss these with you, because now onwards I'm going to use these symbols only, and you have to understand that what I'm talking about. Fine. So moving forward, next topic is Ohm's law. Ohm's law was the law given by George Simon Ohm in 1826. He was the scientist who was studying the relationship between electric current and potential difference across the ends of a conductor. Fine. So by experiments, he found out what is the relation between your potential difference V and the current I. Fine. So he gave the law which states that the electric current flowing in a conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference across the ends of the conductor, provided the temperature and other physical conditions of the conductor remain the same. Now keep this in mind that if you are varying the temperature of the conductor, then Ohm's law may not be followed. Fine. So experimentally it was seen that your I is directly proportional to V, or V is directly proportional to I and V is equals to IR. If you remove the proportionality sign, you will get a constant, and that constant is represented by capital R, which is known as resistance of the conductor. Fine. So from the above formula, R is equals to V by I. Fine. So this law in your NCERT is given as that potential difference is directly proportional to current, but that statement will be wrong, because current is depending on potential difference, not vice versa. Potential difference provides the current in the circuits. Fine. So that's why we are always stating the statement as I is directly proportional to V. Don't get confused and don't write V is directly proportional to I, because we are not going to give marks on those statements. Fine. So always write electric current flowing in a conductor is directly proportional to the potential difference. Plus you have to keep this in mind that you have to mention that your temperature and other physical conditions have to be same, then only this law stands valid. Fine. So I hope this is clear. In this slide you can see I have shown you the portrait of your scientist George Simon Ohm. Fine. So you should know who gave this law. Now going on the next slide, let's talk about resistance R, capital R. I told you that R is V by I. Now many people will tell that if I vary V, R also varies. Fine. That's not true. If I vary V, I varies accordingly, and thus R remains constant for a given material. Fine. So you cannot say that if I am changing V, your I also your I cannot remain same. So that's why if V changes, I also changes, thus keeping R constant. Fine. Now the unit of resistance is Ohm. Just to give some respect, we have given the name of unit of resistance based on the name of scientist who stated this Ohm's law. Fine. Now its symbol is omega. This is the Greek letter omega, so you should remember that how you are going to draw this symbol, and instead of writing ohm you can write this symbol. We will understand that you are mentioning the unit of resistance. Fine. Now if I want to define 1 ohm, so 1 ohm by the formula will come out to be 1 volt per ampere. Fine. By definition of for 1 ohms, resistance of a conductor is said to be 1 ohm if a potential difference of 1 volt across the ends of the conductor makes a current of 1 ampere to pass through it. Fine. So sometimes in exams we ask you to define 1 ohm. So this is the definition for 1 ohm. Fine. Now next, the graph between V and I. This is the very important part, since you will be asked question based on it. Now if I want to draw a graph between V and I, by default we have to draw the graph in which voltage is on the x-axis and current is on y-axis. This is by default. If it is not mentioned whether they want VI current, VI graph or IV graph, then you will draw the graph which is in A part, fine, in which voltage is on x-axis and current is on y-axis. In this, if by Ohm's law, I is directly proportional to V, that means your graph between current and voltage will be a straight line inclined to the x-axis and passing through the origin. Fine. Now if I just reverse the axis as in figure B, the graph will remain same, but the axis I am changing. On x-axis current is there and on y-axis potential difference is there. Fine. So these two are different graphs, but they are representing the graph for Ohm's law. So just see what is being asked in the examination and draw the graphs accordingly. Fine. So these are the two graphs between V and I, different graphs. Fine. Moving on next. Now how we are going to calculate value of R from the graph. Fine. So let's see your first part, A part. In this, current is on y-axis and potential difference is on x-axis. Fine. Now in 9th class we have told you about the slope of a graph. Fine. So you people know that slope of a graph is nothing but the change of quantity along y-axis upon change of quantity along x-axis. Fine. Now in A part, in the graph of A part, if I take any 2 points on the graph, fine, and find out the difference between these difference of y-axis and x-axis on these 2 points, then we get the difference in y-axis as delta I. Delta means change. This triangle is called delta and delta means change. Fine. So change in the values of current will be delta I. Since current is on y-axis, so delta I will be the change of quantity along the y-axis. Fine. So delta I, and along x-axis the change is delta V. Fine. So potential difference is changing. That's why delta V I have written along x-axis. Fine. Now the slope is nothing but delta I upon delta V. Fine. Now if I see Ohm's law, in Ohm's law V is equals to IR. Fine. That means 1 by R is nothing but I by V. Fine. So if I'm finding out the slope as delta I by delta V, it is nothing but 1 by R. Fine. So the slope of this graph, A graph, is nothing but the reciprocal of resistance. Fine. So to find out the resistance, just involves the value of slope. So R can be written as 1 by slope. Fine. Now in the second graph, your current is on x-axis and potential difference is on y-axis. Now here the slope will be delta V by delta R, and delta V by delta I is delta V by delta R is your slope, and delta V by delta I is nothing but your resistance from Ohm's law. Fine. So from this graph we can find out resistance of the conductor as the slope of the graph, which is nothing but delta V by delta I. Fine. So this is how we are going to find out the value of R from the graphs given to you. Fine. Just don't get confused and remember that in A part 1 by slope is equals to R, and in B part slope is equals to R. Fine. Now moving forward, just wait. Yeah, moving forward, what is the cause of this resistance? Fine. This you have to understand very carefully. A conductor has large number of free electrons. When the potential difference is maintained across the ends of a conductor, the free electrons drift from one end to the other end of the conductor. Fine. During their movement, the free electrons collide with the atoms or ions of the conductor, and these collisions oppose the movement of free electrons from one end to the other end. This opposition to the flow of free electrons due to collisions with ions in the conductor is known as resistance of the conductor. More the collision suffered by electrons in the conductor, more will be the resistance of the conductor. Fine. So you can see in the diagram, this is the best way we can tell you that what is resistance. Basically, when you are applying a voltage is what? Voltage is giving a direction to the free electrons in the conductor, and when they start moving, these free electrons start moving, they collide with the other particles in the conductor like ions and atoms. Fine. Now these ions and atoms will provide hindrance to the flow of the free electrons, and this hindrance is nothing, this opposition is nothing but called the resistance of the material. Fine. So this resistance is different for different materials. Fine. If resistance increases, the flow of current decreases. Fine. So that means जितना ज़्यादा resistance होगा किसी कंडक्टर का, उतना कम करंट फ्लो करेगा उस कंडक्टर में से. फाइन. एंड जितना ज़्यादा कोल्यूजन फेस करेंगे आपके फ्री इलेक्ट्रॉन्स इन द कंडक्टर, उतना ज़्यादा आपका रेजिस्टेंस होगा. जितना ज़्यादा कोल्यूजन उतना ज़्यादा रेजिस्टेंस. फाइन. नाउ I hope this is clear to all of you. Moving on. Experimental verification of Ohm's law. Now this is very important because when the school reopens, we are going to perform the experimental verification of Ohm's law in lab also. Fine. So for that you should be aware that in for verification of Ohm's law, we are required to first of all draw the circuit diagram which we are going to use, and then make that circuit diagram with the help of actual wires, ohm, voltmeter, ammeter, resistance, batteries, and your key. Fine. So these we are going to provide you in the lab, and you have to verify that whether Ohm's law is valid or not for the given conductor. Fine. So this is the circuit. In the circuit you can see that there is a resistor R. This is the fixed resistor R. Fine. And across this resistor R there is a voltmeter attached. Now when I told you that voltmeter is always connected in parallel, I meant that the two terminals of the voltmeter will be connected to the two terminals across which we have to find out the voltage. Fine. पोटेंशियल डिफरेंस हमें जिसके अक्रॉस निकालना होता है उसके अक्रॉस ये दो टर्मिनल्स लगा देते हैं. सो दिस इज नथिंग बट योर पैरेलल कॉम्बिनेशन. फाइन. नाउ द दिस होल कॉम्बिनेशन आर एंड वी का कॉम्बिनेशन जो है दैट इज कनेक्टेड टू द पॉजिटिव टर्मिनल ऑफ योर ammeter. फाइन. Ammeter is to measure current. Now the negative terminal of this ammeter is connected to one terminal of your rheostat. Now rheostat is a potential divider. Fine. This rheostat I am going to use to vary the potential difference in the circuit. Fine. Across the across R I am going to vary potential difference, and that I am going to do with the help of this rheostat. Fine. So one end of this rheostat is attached to the ammeter, and second terminal of this rheostat is attached to a key. Fine. Key does not have any plus or minus sign, so you can attach as you wish. Fine. The second terminal of this key is attached to the negative terminal of your battery, and positive terminal of the battery is connected to the positive terminal of voltmeter. Fine. Now you can see here that in rheostat there is another terminal which is not connected to anything. Fine. So what's going on? Rheostat has 3 terminals. Fine. If I connect this terminal having arrow and the any other terminal in the circuit, then what happens when I move this arrow, your voltage will change. Fine. But if I connect your 2 fixed terminals of rheostat with your within your circuits, then this will not act like a potential divider, it will act like just simple resistance. Fine. So what we do in the photo given here, just see here, this is the actual rheostat which we are going to provide you in lab. Fine. You can see that there are 2 terminals, black terminals at the bottom of this rheostat, and there is one terminal on this bar. Fine. So आप जब इसको कनेक्ट करेंगे, आपको नीचे वाले 2 टर्मिनल्स में से कोई एक टर्मिनल लेना है. हमेशा ऑपोजिट लेते हैं. लाइक द terminal which is on the upper side, this black knob on the upper side having this slider, this is a slider, this can move over this coil of wire. Fine. So ये स्लाइडर मूव कर सकता है. इसका ये टर्मिनल जो ऊपर वाला टर्मिनल है, आप एक एंड को इससे अटैच करेंगे और दूसरा एंड जो अटैच होगा दैट विल बी द एंड ऑपोजिट टू दिस एंड. दैट मीन्स इफ आई एम अटैचिंग दिस टर्मिनल ऑन द राइट हैंड साइड, ऊपर वाला जो टर्मिनल मैं अटैच कर रही हूँ, तो मैं नीचे वाला लेफ्ट हैंड साइड वाला टर्मिनल अटैच करूँगी विद द within the circuit if I want to vary the potential difference. Fine. Now I know this is very difficult to understand from the given figure, so we'll do this again in the lab when we go to the school. Fine. So just understand this, that we are attaching only 2 terminals of the rheostat, so that if I slide this slider, whatever slider it is there, over the coil of rheostat is nothing but a coil of a wire, and over that a slider moves. Fine. So जब ये slider move करता है, आपका potential difference vary करता है. Clear? तो आपको इनमें से सिर्फ 2 टर्मिनल अटैच करने हैं, एक ऊपर वाला और उसके ऑपोजिट नीचे वाला. एक ही साइड पे दोनों अटैच नहीं करना. फाइन. सो दिस इज बीइंग अटैच्ड इन दिस फिगर. फाइन. रियोस्टाट जब हम लैब में यूज़ करेंगे तो ज़्यादा इजीली आपको समझ आएगा. फॉर द टाइम बीइंग जस्ट अंडरस्टैंड दैट देयर आर 3 टर्मिनल्स एंड ओनली 2 आर बीइंग अटैच्ड. फाइन. नाउ this is a circuit diagram. Fine. Now before I tell you what we are doing in this, just understand this. A resistor is nothing but a component which offers resistance to the flow of electrons constituting electric current. From the diagram you can see that if there is a free flow of electrons and suddenly I just slow down the flow of electrons, I am slowing down the flow of electrons, that is done by resistor in the circuit. Fine. तो अगर आप कॉपर यूज़ करते हो इंस्टेड ऑफ रेजिस्टर, कॉपर इज़ अ वेरी गुड कंडक्टर, तो आपके इलेक्ट्रॉन्स फ्रीली मूव करेंगे. फाइन. देयर विल बी नो हिंड्रेंस टू देम. लेकिन जैसे ही मैंने कोई ऐसा मटेरियल लगा दिया जो उसके फ्लो को अपोज करता है, तो आपका फ्लो विल स्लो डाउन. फाइन. सिंबल आपको पता ही है, बता दिया था. दिस इज़ अ सिंबल फॉर resistor. Fine. Next is variable resistor. Basically variable resistor is also a device which changes the current without changing the potential difference across the circuit. अब मैंने एक बैटरी लगा दी एक potential difference की, but I want कि circuit में resistance change होता रहे. ठीक है. उसके लिए I am going to insert this variable resistor. Variable resistor का symbol थोड़ा सा different होता है. So just keep this in mind, what is the difference between these 3. Fixed resistor, variable resistor and rheostat. This is very necessary. आपका ये जो कंपोनेंट है ये रेजिस्टेंस सर्किट में चेंज करता है जिसकी वजह से आपका करंट चेंज होता है विदाउट चेंजिंग पोटेंशियल डिफरेंस। फाइन, हम बैटरी बार बार हटाकर दोबारा नहीं लगा सकते, तो हम वेरिएबल रेजिस्टर यूज़ करते हैं। फाइन, नाउ I want to change the potential difference in the circuit. फाइन, तो हम रियोस्टाट यूज़ करते हैं। इसको लगाया आपने और स्लाइडर को जब मूव किया तो आपका पोटेंशियल डिफरेंस अक्रॉस द रेजिस्टर विल चेंज। फाइन, सिंबल इसका हम ये वाला यूज़ करेंगे। देर आर 3 टर्मिनल्स फॉर रियोस्टाट। फाइन, ओनली 2 आर कनेक्टेड, थर्ड वन हम हमेशा खुला छोड़ देते हैं। ठीक है, ammeter you know, device to measure current, voltmeter you know, device to measure potential difference, key to use to break the circuit if required, and battery to maintain the potential difference across the ends of a conductor. Fine, so these are the components which I am going to use in the experiment. And what we are going to do in this, by changing the position of this slider. This arrow is showing you the slider of your rheostat, and when you are changing this slider, if position of the slider is changing, then the potential difference which is shown in the voltmeter across the resistor R will also varies. Fine, this potential difference across R varies, and accordingly the current in ammeter also varies. Fine, so you are going to change the position of this rheostat with the help of that slider, and then you will note down the reading of voltmeter and ammeter in a tabular form. Fine, again change the slider position, your voltmeter reading again change, and similarly your corresponding current will change. Fine, so you are going to write down 5 to 6 values of voltmeter and ammeters by changing the position of the slider of your rheostat. Fine, so this is how we are going to perform Ohm's law in lab. Fine, so when I will connect this circuit and show you, then you will know what I am talking about in real terms. But just now understand this, that we have to note down the values of V and I from voltmeter and ammeter by changing the position of slider on rheostat. Fine, so this is how we are going to do experiment. Now there are some terms. You are aware of these 3 terms: good conductor, poor conductor, and insulator. Let us revise. Good conductor is the conductor which offers very low resistance to the flow of current. They allow current to flow easily through them. Fine, so that material is known as a good conductor. Example, silver is the best conductor. Then after that copper, aluminium. Fine, so but best conductor हमारा silver है, but because of its cost, we are not able to use silver at every place. Fine, poor conductor are those conductors or those material which offers higher resistance to the flow of electrons. Fine, good conductors से ज़्यादा resistance offer करते हैं आपके flow of current electrons को. ये comparison हो रहा है between good conductor and poor conductor. Fine, so iron is a poor conductor as compared to silver. Similarly, copper is a poor conductor as compared to silver. Fine, so हम ये comparison कर रहे हैं. Comparison में बात करते हैं good conductor और poor conductor. तो poor conductor offers higher resistance as compared to the good conductor. Fine, last, insulator. Insulator is a material which offers very high resistance. Basically infinite होना चाहिए, but you people know that infinite is not possible in day-to-day life. So a material which offers very high resistance to the flow of electrons are known as insulators. Example, rubber, dry wood, plastic, etc. Fine, so I hope these 3 terms you are aware of. Moving on, factors on which resistance of a conductor depends. Now I've told you that since R is V by I, but R does not depend on the change of V, because if V is changing, I will also change. Fine, so what factors are there on which your resistance of conductor depends? Fine, so by experiments we have found out that the first factor on which your resistance depends is the length of a conductor. Fine. If your length of the conductor increases, your resistance also increases. Fine. So R is directly proportional to L. Fine. Now see the diagram. There is a wire of more length and there is a wire of shorter length. Fine. Now the longer wire has high resistance as compared to the shorter wire. Fine. Now keep this in mind that in these two wires the cross sectional area, that means the thickness of the wire, is same. Fine. Now second factor on which your resistance of a conductor depends is the area of cross section of a conductor. Fine. Cross section area means thickness की बात कर रही हूँ. This circular portion which is shown in the diagram in the wire is your cross sectional area. Fine. अगर आपकी दो wires हैं having same length, then if I increase the area of cross section, your resistance decreases. Fine. That means resistance is inversely proportional to area. Fine. Now in this diagram, resistance depends on length. Fine. And I've added this diagram just to let you know that what area we are talking about. Fine. So we are talking about this area which is shown in the diagram. Fine. See, this is your cross sectional area. Fine. So we are talking about this. Clear? So resistance is directly proportional to length and inversely proportional to area. Moving on, third factor on which your resistance of material depends is the nature of material. Now there are certain materials which have more resistance as compared to the other. Fine. Example, resistance of a copper wire is less than the resistance of aluminium wire. Fine. Or we can say that aluminium will have more resistance as compared to your copper wire if we keep length and area constant. Fine. Now similarly you will see that resistance vary if I change the type of the material. Iron will have different resistance, copper will have different resistance, silver is the least resistant material, and so on. Fine. Fourth factor is temperature of a conductor. Fine. Temperature of a conductor, how it affects the resistance of conductor. If I increase the temperature of a metallic conductor, then its resistance also increases. Fine. You can see that in this figure I am heating the wire T, and thus by heating I am increasing its resistance. Fine. Now why all this? Why with the increase of length my resistance increases? Fine. Now you know that the more hindrance is there in the path of free electrons, the more resistance will be there. Fine. Now if I increase the length, if I take two wires of same cross sectional area but having different lengths, then you can see that in the shorter wire you have less hindrance for the free electrons. Fine. They will reach from one end to another in short time as compared to the longer wire. Fine. So they will face more hindrance in the wire having larger length. Fine. That's why if length increases, your resistance also increases. Fine. Now see, if thickness increases, why your resistance decreases. Now if thickness increases, see, if there is a wire of less cross section area, in that small area the electrons have to face many collisions with the atoms and ions. Fine. So it is difficult for the electrons to move from one end to another. Fine. Whereas in thick wire they get more space, more area to travel from one end to the another end for the same length. Fine. So we say that the thicker wire will have less resistance as compared to the thinner wire. Fine. Now when temperature increases, what happens? Actually when you are increasing the temperature of the wire, your particles are already in vibrational mode. Fine. at normal temperature also your particles are at vibrational motion. Fine. When I increase the temperature of the wire, this vibrational motion increases. Fine. That means they start vibrating more vigorously at their position. Fine. So this will lead to more collision with the electrons. Fine. Now electrons try to move from one end to another, but because of the more vigorous motion of the other particles, other ions and atoms, they face more hindrance. Hence the resistance of the wire increases if I increase the temperature of the wire. Fine. So this is the main reason behind the factors which affect your resistance. Now we have done R is directly proportional to L, R is inversely proportional to A. This second equation, I have written R is inversely proportional to 1 by A. Don't get confused and don't write L by A. It is 1 by A. Fine. So there are first two equations in which first one R is directly proportional to L, second R is inversely proportional to A. Combining these two we get R is directly proportional to L by A. Fine. Proportionality constant हटाएंगे तो there will be a constant rho. This symbol rho you have done for the density as well, but here we are representing this rho for resistivity or specific resistance of the conductor. Fine. So the formula for resistance of a conductor is rho L by A, where rho is known as resistivity or specific resistance. Fine. So your R depends on length and area of the conductor. This is the formula according to which your resistance varies. Fine. For this class we'll do till this part, and in next class we are going to have a small test based on the reflection part of chapter light. So prepare that, and in that test there will be numericals as well as your theory part. So prepare that part very effectively, because this test will be assessed by us and will be added to your internal assessment. Fine. So I hope this part in electricity, up to this part, this much is clear. If still you are getting any doubts, we are soon going to have classes on Microsoft, so you can clear your doubts there. So just or you can WhatsApp me or mail me, whatever you feel is convenient for you. Fine. And please revise electricity chapter till here, and also revise reflection part, because in next class most probably we are going to have a test, online test, and if there will be any change in the schedule I will let you know on the WhatsApp group. Till then, practice and clear your doubts on the regular basis. Fine. So thank you. Have a nice day.